Okay, so as I did last time, I'm gonna try to go over some of the questions we went in class with a little more background so you can use this for study for the exam. Okay, so this is the first question we did after the first exam. If the supply for marijuana goes down, maybe due to strong government enforcement, then the total revenue of those producers of marijuana that stay in the market will what? Well, if the supply goes down, the price will go up. So essentially the question is asking what will happen to the price, to the total revenue of producers of marijuana if the price goes up. And the answer is we can't really say, because in order to know, we need to know something about the price elasticity of marijuana. If the price elasticity of marijuana is one way, then the answer is one way. If the price of marijuana is the other way, then it's the other way. So as it was the case in class, the answer here is that we don't really know. It may decrease, or stay the same. We need to know something about the elasticity. Now the reason is for this, and this is what the little kind of visual representation of elasticity I did in class. So total revenue is made of two things. It's the price you charge and then how many things you sell. So you multiply how many things you sell times the price you sell each of those things, then you get how much money or how much revenue you make selling all those things. So when the price goes up by 30%, there's going to be a resulting decrease in quantity, right? Because the demand curve is downward sloping. If the quantity goes down by 10%, then total revenue will go up because the price is actually the positive side. It's actually going by higher than the negative side on this equation. In other words, the part that is increasing of total revenue is increasing by more than the part that is decreasing. Now, in this case, this is an inelastic demand because we know that the elasticity is a percentage change in quantity over the percentage change in price, and we know that the demand is actually not responding too much to a change in price. So when the price goes up, you sell just about the same amount of units. You sell them at a higher price, so obviously you're going to make more money. Now the opposite is true if we have an elastic demand. In that case, let's say the price goes up by 10%, the quantity is going to go down, but it's going to go down by more than 10%. In other words, this responds a lot to price change. And if this is the case, now what's going down on total revenue is going down by more than what's going up. So therefore, the total revenue will go down. If I increase my price by 10%, but I lose 30% of my customers, then clearly my sales will go down. And this is a situation for an elastic demand because the demand is responding quite a bit to a change in price. So if we go back to this question, we will be able to answer this question if we implicitly state the assumption that we are talking about the demand for marijuana. For instance, if we say that the demand for marijuana is price inelastic, then the answer here is, as we said, is that if the price of marijuana go up, but just about the same number of people are going to continue to consume it, then producers of marijuana that stay in the market are actually going to make a lot more revenue than before. So the point here is two. One, that you understand that the relationship between price and total revenue is dependent on the elasticity. And two is that you understand what happens to total revenue when you change in price given a particular assumption about the elasticity of demand. So I think we have a couple of other questions about this coming up, and you're also going to have a few of those questions in the practice problems. Make sure you know this for the exams, and this is going to be quite an important part of the exam. Okay, so here's another question that we're going to get into the more detailed definition of elasticity. So remember that we define elasticity as the percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. Now this question asks you to use that definition to answer the question. The price elasticity of demand for marijuana is estimated to be 0.5, and obviously it's negative since there is always negative, so this is an absolute value. If the price of marijuana increased by 20%, then the consumption of marijuana, or the quantity of marijuana sold, will go down by what? Well, the best way to answer this question, set up the equation. Elasticity of demand is the percentage change in quantity over the percentage change in price. The question is actually giving us two of those terms. It's giving us the absolute value of the elasticity, and it's also giving us the percentage change in price. So all we'll need to do is to simply solve for the thing we don't know, which is what we're looking for, is the percentage change in quantity. And to do that, we multiply 0.5 times 20%, and that's 10%. So the answer to this question is 10%, and it kind of reflects the fact that when that is inelastic, because the percentage change in quantity is actually less than the percentage change in price. Okay, moving on here. So this is another one in terms of total revenue and elasticity. You print t-shirts on campus. If you found out that the price elasticity of t-shirts you sell is elastic, then in order to increase your sales, should you do what? Well, if you know that it's elastic and you increase your price, you're going to lose more than the increase in price. In other words, the loss of sales as a result of your increase in price is going to be quite high. So therefore, you should not increase the price, because if you increase the price, you're going to lower total revenue. But what will happen if you decrease the price? Well, the opposite. If you decrease the price by 10% and it's elastic, your sales are going to go up by more than 10%. So clearly, when you decrease the price, you gain more than the reduction in the price, and therefore your total revenue will go up. So the answer here is that if you know your demand is elastic, if you decrease the price, you increase total revenue because your sales go up. And this is an error here. I don't want to start over, so I'm just gonna basically go out here and fix it. So just for a second here. The answer is decrease. All right. So again, since you know that your demand is elastic, if you decrease the price, you gain more in total consumption or sales than you actually lose by the reduction in the price, and your total revenue will go up. Okay, this is the problem that kind of the lab we did in class, and I think most of you should be able to answer it correctly, because you spent quite a bit of time working on this. But here's the answer that I will give. So say you were advising Tim Cook, who was considering decreasing the price of the iPad by 30%, and this is let's say, assuming that this is in order to compete with Amazon. And further, let's assume, I mean, this is not realistic, this is just an assumption, right? That we knew the price of elasticity of iPads was actually negative 1.3. Then what can we say about these questions that we had before? What would be the percentage change in iPads sold as a result of the reduction in price? What should be the advice we should give Tim Cook? And if we didn't know anything about the price elasticity of iPads, and you will have to guess, what would be the things that you look out there to find out if it's elastic or inelastic? Well, the first thing is to find out what is the percentage change in quantity for a reduction of 30%. Now, the price, again, the definition of elasticity is as a percentage change in quantity over a percentage change in price. In this case, we know that the elasticity is minus 1.3, and we know that what we're talking about here is a reduction in price by 30%. Again, we're going to find out the term that is the unknown, and we don't, based on the other two known terms. So we're simply going to multiply the 30 times 1.3, and we know that it's 39%. So the change in quantity is going to be an increase of 39%. So that's in terms of the first question, right? So if this was the demand, the price elasticity of demand for iPads, if they reduce the price of iPad by 30%, they will increase the sales of iPads by 39%. So it's a good deal. If they were only care about total revenue, if they only wanted to increase total revenue, then clearly reducing the price by 30% is a good deal, because it will increase revenue, right? Because the price will go down by less than the increase in quantity. And I think I have another visual here one more time to see that, right? The price goes up by 30%. What we're saying here is that the quantity will go up by 39%, and total revenue collecting from iPads will actually go up. So based on this, then we can say that